This is the cello audition excerpt for Encore strings in the steppes of Central Asia from measures 172 to 198. First, let's talk about the rhythm that you have here. The first measure of 172 is just steady eighth notes, 2/8 and a quarter, so the rhythm is just 1 and 2. The next measure, and we'll talk about the shift in a second, but the rhythm is dotted eighth and 16th. So if you subdivided that dotted eighth, it would have 3 16th notes, and it would sound like this. Okay, so you would change to the F sharp. That, by the way, that's an E going to an F sharp. You would change to the F sharp on the 4th 16th note. So again, subdivided, it would sound like this. Okay, but then we're just it's written as slurs. We play. Okay, oops, I hit the wrong string. So again, from the beginning, it sounds like 1 and 2, 1. Okay, so the first measure is just steady eighth notes. The next one is jumpy. Dum, da, dum. So try to make the difference in that rhythm. And then that measure at the end of 173 has to tie across the bar line, and it's on at the end of the line moving to the next line, so it's easy to lose track there, but you have to hold. So the rhythm is from 172, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, and we'll talk about that, the shifts and stuff in a second. But make sure that you don't play that next F sharp in measure 174 until after beat 1. So it's 1, 2, 1. Okay, so anytime you have a rhythm problem, the best thing to do is just stop playing for a second and just think through and tap the beat in your mind, or tap the beat and think the rhythm in your mind. So it's da 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 da. Okay, so make sure you really understand that rhythm before working on the rest of it, because the rhythm is really important. Okay, now let's talk about the shifts. So we're starting off in first position, C sharp, moving up to an E. Okay, so make sure you practice that shift a lot. Okay, so that's nice and smooth. And again, the whole hand shifts, don't leave your thumb behind and try to just sort of point your finger for that E. Make sure the thumb and arm all go together as one part. So, okay, now let's talk about the grace note. All it is just a little flick with the fingers, and the closer your fingers are to the fingerboard, the easier it is to get it to be fast. Okay, so you might just practice that over and over again. Okay, just little taps with your third finger. It doesn't really matter too much, but I'm placing second and third together there, just for strength. But now the problem is right after that flick, you have to get back to second finger. So let's practice that by itself, just that shift from a 1 to a 2. So we're going 1, 2, 1. Okay, that first finger I'm playing is the first note of the triplet. So it's 1, 2, 1, shift to a 2, 1. Okay, and then with the grace notes added, it's okay. So do that a bunch of times. Then we're still there. Sorry. Okay, and by the way, that is a fourth finger, because what is that interval? It's a whole step. Moving from a D to an E is a whole step. So that would be a fourth finger there. And then we're shifting back to first position. Same thing again, shift up to your first finger. Okay, so then the melody kind of repeats itself again. So moving on to the next new part is at 189, you're going to be on a third finger here, and you quickly have to shift back to first position with a 4. Okay, so you might practice that shift a lot. Okay, and if your teacher suggests a different fingering there, that's fine. It's just one that happens to work, because that has to happen pretty quickly. And I don't think you want to shift in the middle of that pattern for the 16th notes getting into the B. So that's why I put that fingering, so it's all right there in one position. Okay, and then moving on to 193, you have to jump from open and just target practice that E. Can you you target practice that? Can you hit it every time? That's a lot of, takes a lot of practice. Okay, then it's a whole step from the E to the F sharp, so that'll be a 4. Now I want you to just reach back with your first finger. Okay, so you should be able to reach from the D to the F sharp, okay, without having to move your hand. That should just be a reach. And then you do shift back to the C sharp. Okay, so the whole thing all together, I'm going to do my best because I'm not a cellist. And if you can do vibrato, this would be a great piece to add it on. So here we go from 172. Ready, play. So that is your audition spot. Practice that a lot because it's really important. Good luck.